podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready!
The podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panel.
Hey, Daddy, this a dollar beat.
BoxingVoice.com. No matter what nobody say, man. Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, the kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar. I feel like he was straight up and down, no really no special effects. BoxingVoice.com. How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app. BoxingVoice.com. I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is Sunday, Crow Day. So if you got it wrong like I did, because we all picked Adam Kownacki. We finally learned how to pronounce it. So if you picked it wrong like me, you'll be having a full serving of... And that's okay, because no one is expected to always pick them right. Shout out to the Nordic Nightmare, Robert Helenius. I feel good that we got him on the show before the win, right? Because we showed love to both guys, and look, he came away with the upset. Is this a bigger upset than the AJ Ruiz? I don't know, but definitely an upset. 2019, definitely sprinkling over into 2020, continuing with these upsets. The heavyweight division just flip-flopping. We have so much to discuss. Obviously, the PBC on Fox card. Robert Helenius defeats Adam Kownacki in TKO in 4. F.A. Ajagba on the undercard will give you those results. Frank Sanchez results as well. Carlos Negron, everybody. Then we'll cross the pond to go and talk about Manchester Arena, where Jono Carroll got his biggest win till date. We'll give you the details. So much more to talk about. I mean, Mario even put some Khabib, Norma in there. So, yeah, we'll be talking a little bit of everything here, man. So, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. And you can also go ahead and take it a step further. Share the show and call in if you want to. 1425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Let's go out to my co-host in Corpus Christi, Mario Munguia. What up, champ? What up?
What is up? What is up?
It's me, Mario.
Mario knows
yeah.
I'm gonna play that.
I know. It's me. That was me. Like literally, it was me. So yeah, man, a great night of fights. Listen, if we always pick them right, then why would there be any reason to care if we picked them wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things that this is why we love boxing. Because of nights like this where, you know...
Mario, do you got some sort of voice changer? I swear you sound like a different person. Like deeper.
What?
Hey, yo, in the chat, let me know if it's me. I know I ain't going crazy.
Like my computer's messed up? Or
No.
Different?
Like you got a voice changer. Like you got...
Oh, shit.
Like you on some... You just kidnapped somebody and it's like... Matter of fact, you should just go ahead and go into some improv and be like, we got your fucking son. You better, I swear, you got this weird deep voice going on. I'm not joking. Look, someone just said, what's wrong with his voice?
What? That's weird. I don't know. Maybe it was all the screaming I did last night when during the fight, because that shit got me out of bed real quick.
That's
But
crazy. It
to
definitely
make a
sounds
joke.
like you about to drop a ransom letter right now.
What? This is so weird. I gotta like hear playback now
What
because
in the
I have
world?
no idea what it is.
Look, everybody's like, yeah, he sounds super deep, a bit flued up. I don't know. You
Oh,
definitely.
that could be it. That could be it.
Oh my God, he's got the corona.
No, oh God, don't even joke. It's been in San Antonio. I'm scared now. Um, yeah, but look, to get back on topic real quick, before I make that ransom call, I just will tell people that again, these are the nights that we want. You know, these nights where, yeah, it was shocking. Is it a bigger win than Ruiz? No. And I don't think anybody's going to make that argument, but it certainly is a big upset, and it shows the consistency of the heavyweight division. You know, if you want to know if we're in a golden age of heavyweights, all you got to do is turn on the TV when one of them's on, and you're going to see high level, high class boxing in spots that we never used to see that from. You know, we've had a top 10 the entire heavyweight, the existence of the heavyweight division, but it's never produced such meaningful moments, or I'll say it hasn't produced much meaningful moments in a long time as these right here. But yeah, we'll break down the whole card because the other heavyweight fights were good too. There's a lot to be grateful about with this card. You know, you said last night it's not great. I'm not going to call it a great card, but it was definitely a solid card. It had a little bit of something for everyone, so we'll break it down.
I mean, definitely had the upset, and I think that's what's going to stick out in everybody's minds. I mean, the biggest issue with the upset, you know, and let's just get right into it. We're talking Adam Kownacki losing by fourth round TKO to Robert Helenius. This was a WBA eliminator, so Robert Helenius has earned himself a shot at Anthony Joshua and his 4 belts. Now, the irony in this, and it must be discussed, is that Kownacki turned down about $7 million to face Joshua in New York City on June 1st, that same date that Andy Ruiz picked up. Kownacki was offered that opportunity. He told me personally, you know, it wasn't enough time, and he felt given enough time he could beat AJ. And now he suffers this setback, so no one is going to believe that he can beat AJ if you could be knocked out to the Nordic Nightmare. I mean, just what do you think? I mean, they advised him not to take it. Maybe he advised himself. Maybe he knew he wasn't in shape. I mean, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse or anything, but, you know, it's kind of, we got to talk about the fact that he didn't take that Joshua payday, and now, you know, he had his own route. He bet it on himself, but it didn't work out because not taking a Joshua payday, going down your own route, this is where it landed you.
Yeah, I hear you. It sounds harsh to put it that way, but you're not wrong at all. You know, you shoot your shot in this sport, and not just in this sport, in this life, and nobody that's followed Adam for even a little bit of time would expect anything less from him. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like while this isn't like any indication that it's over or anything, or that he's not going to get that fight, I agree with you. There is probably a part of him that's like, you know, that first loss coming to a Joshua is much different than it coming to a Robert Helenius on a card where you were being showcased and you were being given the A side. It's such a different loss. So it's definitely got to maybe eat at him a bit, but at the end of the day, I think he made the right decision at the right time for himself. You know, we can't all be Monday morning quarterbacks and then look at it. You know, my question is, you know, does this in turn, I mean, obviously there's no rematch clause. We've seen that. You know, shout out to Joseph for sending me or sending us all an article.
Let's talk about that though, man. Let's talk about that because, you know, Eddie, you know, he was in the public saying that he would never send Anthony Joshua into a fight without a rematch clause. And more we see that it is the right thing to do for your fighter. Set him up with a rematch clause regardless of opposition because you just don't know. That phrase is becoming more and more true. These fights need to be fought for this very same reason, you know? The Nordic Nightmare is already on his route to Finland. It's over. He's got the win. He's got the eliminator in the bag. He actually said, give me a few days. He doesn't want to answer questions about what he's going to do. He's got no commitment to BBC and Al Heyman, no commitment to Adam Kownacki. He can go anywhere. He's probably a commodity now to Eddie Hearn, because if you're Eddie Hearn, what do you want to do? You want to control who's your mandatory. You want to make sure it's in-house. And if this guy doesn't have a deal, why not snatch him up for a one fight with the option?
Yeah, because you can get a bag for him right now, because there's a lot of fights that could be made, and they all produce financially, potentially financial successes. So, you're right. More and more we're seeing the need for some of these guys to walk in with rematch clause. I personally don't like it happening all the time. Like, there's a difference between a Floyd Mayweather fighting a a Marcos Maidana and asking for a rematch clause. That's totally well within the realm of understanding. I get it. He's the A side. He's not meant to lose. If he does, then it's something he's got to have the opportunity to avenge. It's kind of like, okay, I'm giving Maidana his opportunity, and then if I need one back, I'm going to make sure that he gives it to me. Then there's a difference between like Canelo and Triple G, where there's like almost a demand right away for a rematch before the fight because it's so much hype, and both guys go in there wanting to be protected from that. But in situations like this where, you had an opportunity to look good on national TV on what was being built as your card, and you take that L, I can understand you wanting that get back. But, it's hard to put a rematch clause into a situation like that, when
I just don't even know. Why would it be hard for Adam to have a rematch clause in a tune-up? Like, if everyone else is doing it, like, what do you have to give the opponent more money because it's I don't even understand. Why wouldn't this be in there? This is a failure on his management team and his promoter's part, because, come on, bro. Like, now he's back to the back of the line.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think that there's any way you could sit here playing Monday morning quarterback and saying, well, now look at what trouble in, because that's not what was supposed to happen last night. There was no reason in their minds that they thought that this should happen. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you're right.
But Andy Ruiz was a 20-1, and
Sure.
and AJ had a rematch clause. Like, you should never play that cocky game. Anthony Edwards did that in Border Wars, and he's out of 2 titles because of that. Marvin beat him, no rematch. He's sitting around begging. And you can't do that. Your management they got to take care of you. You're a fighter. You're not supposed to be worried about rematch clauses. That shit should be in there.
Yeah, but rematch clauses is a level you hit, just like pay-per-view, just like fighting your first 10-rounder, just like competing for your first, NWBA or your first, regional title. Like, those are the things that those are like little steps you hit. And so for you to be like a mandatory rematch comes in 2 different forms, or it's accumulated by 2 different things. It's accumulated by the commercial appeal of the fighter going into the fight. How popular is he? Is he a Floyd Mayweather? Is he a Joshua? Is he a Wilder? And then how difficult is the fight he's heading into? In both these situations, Adams' level doesn't score high enough. He's not a big enough commodity to demand a rematch. And this also wasn't perceived as a difficult enough fight for it to be a sticking point. So if they're
Neither was Andy Ruiz.
Neither
was Andy Ruiz, bro. Neither was Andy Ruiz.
I wasn't at the table for either. I'm just telling you the way I see it. I think that, it doesn't just demand itself.
Wilder Fury 1 had a rematch clause. 50-50, It just ended in a draw, so they had to go back to the negotiation table. But listen, whatever, man. He didn't have it. Helenius gets to move on. He shocks the world for sure. He ends it in great fashion because he gets the stoppage in the 4th. What do you think is next? I spoke to him. He said give him a couple days before he comes back on the show, so he wants to celebrate,
That seemed to be the same answer he was giving pretty much everybody in the last 24 hours. So, no harm, no foul there. But I agree. Take his time. Take his time, weigh his options. Look, he's not going to get Joshua. That's what we know that. Last night was and again, I forgot right up until the moment the fight was almost over. I forgot that it was an eliminator. So there are plenty of things that can be done in the heavyweight division that don't have to necessarily steal the spotlight every time. We can't get into this situation like we did with the pay-per-views in the 2000s, where it was like, if this pay-per-view didn't hit 1 million because it was living up to the standard of all the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao pay-per-views that were coming, then it wasn't a success, because 1 million buys was now this new threshold or the new standard. Like, no, that's bullshit. That's horseshit. That's not the way it is. So the heavyweights don't have to come out and make ESPN First Take every Monday morning, but they have to go out there and produce. And this is a situation where Robert Helenius is in the driver's seat, and he can kind of, and not the full driver's seat, but he's definitely in a much better situation than he was coming into negotiations for the Kownacki. My bad.
He's definitely in a better situation, and I think anybody will be jumping at the opportunity to face him. See, right now there's a lot going on in the WBA. Obviously, you got Anthony Joshua about to face Kurbret Pulev for the IBF mandatory, but the WBA is on the line. Then you got Trevor Bryant going up against Manuel Char whenever that happens. I know Don King wants to talk to Impact Network. Maybe we finally get to see Trevor Bryant on television and, get to see what he looks like, because he's been in the number one in the top 10 at heavyweight forever, but I don't know if anyone's ever seen what he looks like. Manuel Char, I've seen him about once or twice. Will be good to see if he gets back in action. But, from what I'm being told, Don King's trying to holler at Impact, and maybe that heavyweight fight between those two ends up there. But that just pushes the eliminator winner back in Robert Helenius, because you still got the regular, facing against the number one, the champion, handling another mandatory. So I don't know really where this leaves Helenius and what is the best option for him.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to really see it right now, and that's why the smartest thing is to take a few days. But there was 8,811 people in attendance, and most of them were decked out in the colors of the Polish flag. So as important as it is to figure out what Helenius' next move is, I think there's a lot of importance also on the Kownacki side of it, because Adam has such potential. He already has a growing fan base that gets bigger every day. He has such a fun fight style. He has a look, like a brand about him that's very specific. My wife recognized him yesterday just looking. I had the volume off for a second. She's like, "Oh, I know that guy." You know what I mean? So like he's got a lot of appeal. What comes next for him? I think, they go to the drawing board, and luckily at the heavyweight division, there's plenty of guys that kind of line up in that gatekeeper status. He should take one of those fights and then come back strong. I doubt he's going to be in the short list for Ruiz anymore, but we'll see. Which I think would be a great fight for Helenius.
This fight just made, boxing cliches more true, right? Because it's like, who does he come back to? Well, the reality is this was a tune-up. This was a stay busy. This was, it was an eliminator because he's already the mandatory. He's already so it's like his manager told me they didn't want to do a rematch with Areola. So you went in there with a guy that was just knocked out by Gerald Washington. If you didn't beat him, then what is your next tune-up? Like, does he, I don't know. But it's going to be, he's going to be digressed. He's going to get, he's going to have to take a back step. And I don't know. Is it even on TV? Is that comeback fight even on TV?
I say yes. Is it his own his own event? Is he headlining it? Probably not. But yeah, I think he does. He brings enough fans to every show live, and he has an exciting enough style that, look, in the list of really friendly TV guys, he's definitely up there, pound for pound, regardless of weight class, because we always talk about how the lighter you go, the more exciting the fights get, in terms of exchanges and stuff like that. But it breaks down to, which guys go out there and can make that list of guys you want to watch every time out. And Adam falls on that very short list. So I think there's plenty to for him to do and plenty of decisions to make.
So technically, he wasn't the mandatory, obviously, because Kurbret Pulev is, but next in line is
I knew
Adam.
What you meant.
I just got to be literal for, the bots in the chat, man. But, congratulations to Robert. Interesting to see what he does because, the right move, and he can shake up the division in his own right. We had a lot of heavyweights on this card. We were just speaking of Robert Helenius defeating Adam Kownacki TKO4. F.A. Ajagba was the co-main event, and he was taking on Razvan Cojanu. Cojanu, I know for some time, and he's a common opponent with a couple of heavyweights. Listen, F.A. did great. I just wanted more. I'm not even going to Google it. I'm pretty sure Dubois knocked out Kojanu in like 2. Kojanu was too brave last night. He was too confident. He was being an aggressor at times. He was talking in the ring. I didn't like that. I would like to see, and look, easier said than done. I know I'm on the outside, all that good shit. You know what I mean? Cool. Now that we got that out the way, yes, I would like to see FA take a little more charge. Stop giving these dudes, the ability to like get pumped up. Like, why was he poking his chest out? Like, what have you done to even believe that you can beat F.A. Ajagba? And I think that was F.A.'s fault, not taking that glimpse of hope from him and suffocating it immediately. There was a time where Kojanu kind of walked F.A. back, and I'm like, wait, what the hell? Look, he looked good. He got the win. But he was battering him, and I started to question the power. There was a lot of shots that landed, even if they were on the gloves. I started to question the power. But listen, maybe he wanted rounds. I don't know. But how'd you receive that fight?
It's pretty interesting because I felt the exact same way you did. He looked great. He looked good. And yet at the end, I felt almost guilty that I wasn't like overjoyed about his performance. I didn't feel anything that was inspired by it. I saw a really great talent who, he had incredible upper body movement last night. He started the fight out really strong. The body movement was coming from the waist and the hips, showing the agility, which that's the best way to move. You know what I mean? A lot of guys will kind of move the shoulders a little bit to be a little quicker, but doing it from the hips is much more conducive to setting up shots later. But he looked poised and he looked patient. And I think after the knockdown in his last fight that he suffered in the 3rd round, and him getting up and showing adversity, I think that he wanted this to be a fight where there wasn't like a bunch of fireworks, where it wasn't, the most exciting thing in the world. Or I'll put it to you this way. I think he wanted a fight where the most exciting thing in the world was in the ring and his actual prowess of skill. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, he showed ring awareness from a defensive side. He was able to, slip his opponent into the corner, and he was able to get out of spots where he was getting trapped. He hit Kojanu with that. He hit Kojanu with that. Man, I forgot. I think it was a right. And he almost reacted like it was a body shot. He got hit and it was just stunned, and you could see it in his eyes, like it hurt him, and he was not the same at all from that point on. But he did get a little bit of offense in. I felt like when the fight fell into some lulls, when FA wasn't doing as much, he took a few opportunities to kind of take it, and you could see the Razvan that we've seen in the past. You know what I mean? So, but overall, it was a great night for F.A. Ajagba. Really, it was.
So, What I picked up on is that, he's got good stamina. Like, he was letting his jab go nonstop, just letting the jab go. And I even talked to Doomy. I'm like, wow, like, bro, he throws that jab, so easy. He doesn't get tired. So there were some things that I like. I felt like his accuracy wasn't there, man. I wish I would have had punch stats right now just to know the number, the percentage. But I feel like it might have been low. I feel like he was missing a lot. And maybe I had high expectations on him because I've gone to see him train. I see how big and strong he is. I see how hard he works. Maybe I was expecting more, but we got to remember maybe he was tentative. He was just dropped in his last fight with Kownacki, so maybe he was being careful.
Well, like you said, if he was looking to get rounds out of the fight, then that wasn't the accomplishment of the fight. And we can't sit here and criticize a fighter for working that knows he's got the fight in hand and just wants to get better. But I do want to reiterate the jab. It looks so good. And, sometimes guys whip it out there for a rangefinder. Sometimes guys whip it out there to see to use distraction. He was getting full extension and he was catching Cojanu on the chin at full extent. You know what I mean? He was making every inch of that jab count. And that's a really high level thing to do. And when you're a guy like FA, who's just an incredible athlete and super, super big, using that rangy jab, for pop to make a statement it's a big tool in the ring.
I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. I was watching it with Doomy, and I'm like, yo, look how much weight he puts on his front foot. He leans on that front foot a lot. It's usually not bent, and that's because he's putting so much into that jab. But that's also how he got caught, man. He got caught, coming in. So I don't know. I hope that he starts to change that, or that someone doesn't pick up on it. But he definitely puts a lot of weight on that front foot when he's throwing that jab, man. And, definitely not a good thing, because if he takes a shot, he'll go down. And he's already proven that he'll go down. And now I'm assuming this is why, because, while his balance looks good, it really isn't. You're not supposed to be putting all your weight on your front foot, especially when you're throwing a punch, because of the counter punch. You want to have your power coming from the back so that you could be able to support yourself if you get hit with something, kind of like a shock absorber. But whatever, he did good. It was 9. The unfortunate thing for me, again, is that I'm comparing him to other up-and-coming heavyweights. I'm comparing him to Dubois. So, now you got a common opponent with Dubois, and, it's a little underwhelming, the performance.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough thing to do, to walk in last night and try to live up to, or try to measure yourself by that performance, because I think he got that stoppage in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. So that was already kind of a goal that maybe wasn't worth reaching, especially, again, going back to the very likelihood that he wanted to get rounds in, and he wanted a very uneventful night, because he knows that he is going to produce a lot of fireworks later in his career. No need to do him on the undercards of fights that he's not even the lead promoted guy for. But moving on, I think that a very interesting fight that happened, specifically after speaking with you and wanting to kind of see things in Frank Sanchez that you had kind of put out there. I thought the fight was fun. You had definitely talked about what was Frank Sanchez, the Cuban, going to come and do. Was he going to work more? Was he going to let the hands go? What were we going to see? I felt like from that point of view, no, we didn't see everything we could have, but I felt like he boxed really well. He did a lot of good things against a really tough opponent in Joey, who continued to get frustrated throughout the fight and was really just taken out. He was dissected mentally and physically, although he kept landing that overhand right at will towards the end of the fight. As the later rounds went on, he would find this punch like randomly, once or twice, maybe even 3 times around. It wouldn't land flush every time, but man, if he had as much power in the first 2 rounds as he had at the end of the fight, that might have done some damage. But, other than that, I thought that Sanchez, he was there to be hit at times. JD landed the right hand, like I said, but he popped the jab, he switched stances, landing left and rights from both power sides. And man, it was a really impressive dissection, but I'm also very curious to hear what you thought about Sanchez.
Well, he definitely let his hands go more than I expected, or more than as much as I wanted, rather. Because I was hoping he wasn't going to be typical Cuban and keep his hands in his pocket. Mm-hmm. Kind of disappointed he didn't get the stoppage, but I don't think anyone stopped Dawejko. But, just being a young guy with, size and power, Dawejko's been stopped once, and it probably was early in his career. Yes, it was. Kevin Franklin, I believe. Charles Martin actually stopped him early in his career. Mm. So, I kind of wanted the stoppage. I really did. I'm sure Reynoso wanted that. Dawejko's there to be hit. We've been really supporting him for a long time on this show, and damn, it's like this is the first time I've seen him for who he is. And it's like, he's just a guy that's going to throw one counterpunch and hope for the best. And that's not going to win a fight. He takes 5 shots to throw one, and he's not a power puncher. At best, I can't even say at best. I mean, he's got a 34% knockout ratio. This is now the second fight that I'm not impressed with Joey. Because you can be impressed with someone on the losing, but the Rodney Hernandez fight, we didn't even think he won that. You know what I mean? And then Frank Sanchez, I just don't know. He's got to let his hands go. And it's crazy because he's been in all these elite level camps as a sparring partner. Maybe he has a sparring partner mentality. But he's not going to win fights if he doesn't let his hands go. And it's unfortunate because he's got some sponsors and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, get out there and give it your all, bro. Like, he's just, I don't know, man. It's tough to come down on someone and tell them to let their hands go because you're not in that ring receiving the counter punches, But, bro, he's not letting his hands go, man. I mean, fuck. I wish I had punch stats again for this fight just to see how many punches he threw.
I think, though, a lot of the issues we saw last night, too, were just ingrained in the fight itself. I mean, if you would have said what's the most likely scenario if Frank Sanchez wins a unanimous decision, you could have easily drawn out the fight exactly the way it happened. Joey got frustrated. He went in there, and at some point he got so frustrated that he was yelling at Sanchez to fight. Like, you're yelling at this guy to fight. Did you watch tape? Did you know who you were fighting? Did you know what to expect? Because if that's what you were hoping was going to happen, is you were going to be able to at some point goad your opponent into a fist fight, into a wild exchange, that was a bad plan. But other than that, I think that
I don't even know how those plans still exist.
I know.
How many of these dudes go in there with a boxer and expect to just, if I just catch up to him, if I just hit him with that one left hook, like, what the hell, bro? I mean, not on this level, man. Not on this level. No, I just wanted Joey to do good, Mario, because I like to see people get a return opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want to be able to be like, oh, look, he's going to be fighting Joey. This is a good test. This is a barometer. Not the storyline go to, oh, shit, he's fighting Joey. Man, is he going to let his hands go? Is he going to take it serious? Like, I don't want that to be the storyline.
Yeah, I hear you. It was disappointing to see Joey put in such really bad odds, and as every round went by, they just increased and increased and increased. But like you said, there were some things that you saw from Sanchez that looked really good, and I still think there's stuff he can work on. And I do think he's going to get better. But all I'll say is that if you look for like an overall tone of the night, I feel like this was such a great card to display the versatility and the prowess of the heavyweight division. We got a different type of fight and a different type of story in every single one of those fights on the card. The heavyweight division showed that it has a little bit for everybody. You know, you like boxing, we got you. You like wars, we got you. You like, boxer punchers, we got you. You like guys that stalk their prey, we got you. You like guys that'll give two to take one. I mean, give two to take one, yeah, then we got you. And so that's a huge thing. I think that PBC made a really big point last night, and I think it came across loud and clear.
Bro, I'm so sad that I didn't get to see the Carlos Negron fight. He knocked out Robert Alfonso in one. First round knockout.
I know, dude.
How do they not even show highlights of that? Like, that's so whack for Alfonso and for Negron. Like, for Negron, it's even worse. Like, bro, I bounced back with a knockout win over an undefeated, Cuban heavyweight, and I don't get no shine. What the fuck, man? Unfortunate. Damn, man, I feel so bad for Roberto Alfonso. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that sucked, man. It really did, because I was definitely looking forward to it. We had talked about it, we had talked about the fight, and we had kind of built it up, and you did a really good job of breaking it down and making me really excited to watch it. And yeah, you just feel bad in the situation. I wish there was another way that this could all go down, where we could see every fight on a card. But there's never been a point in the history of boxing where every single fight and every single card was presented to every fan, so, and I don't think that'll ever happen completely. But that said, congratulations to Carlos Negron, because that's a solid win. It's a solid win. And I wish I could have seen the performance. It was a KO in the first round. Yeah, first round. Oh yeah, you said that. My bad. You said
caught
that.
Him, so caught him cold, but the strange thing is, Negron, when I interviewed him, he told me he started his career like in the 130s, bro. Like 126 in the amateurs. So, like, this wasn't a dude that was a natural heavyweight. He just blew up. Crazy.
Definitely crazy. But in other news, Zachary Ochoa did get a win. They didn't show that one, unfortunately, either. It was an 8-round unanimous decision. It was scheduled for 8 rounds. Nothing for me to say here other than congrats. He's fighting 8-round fights. He had been fighting 6-round fights before that, but he's been out of action for a while. So this is the type of fight you need to come back to, and those are the type of rounds I'd like to see. If he has one more 8-rounder, I guess I'd be okay with it, but I would really like to see him at least in a 10-round fight, regardless of opponent. So, yeah, congratulations to Zachary, and hopefully he's got a quick turnaround to make up for some time.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out for a while, and looks like Golden Boy and him got, parted ways, and he's getting some of that PBC action. I believe this was a one-off because of Brooklyn needing the tickets. We'll see. If they keep using them, it'll be a good congratulations to him, and we'll schedule him. But he's definitely got to get on his bike. I mean, 8-rounders still, he's got to get on that bike.
Definitely. It'll be good to talk to him when that time comes, and kind of be able to pick his brain, see where he's at. But hopefully they'll release some footage, like they do that every once in a while with like the prelims. They'll like start releasing them on YouTube and stuff, and hopefully they'll be made available, because I would like to see both those fights. But is what it is.
They should at least put the knockout on the freaking YouTube page.
I know. That would have at least, and that's the big thing I think that they miss out on all the time. You know, you can't watch football during football season without seeing football highlights, baseball without seeing baseball highlights, and you know, boxing misses that a lot of the times. You know, and don't get me wrong, PBC is very quick. DAZN can be very quick. A lot of these, you know, guys are quick to the results, but yeah, sometimes they drop the ball on a social media standpoint. But moving on to DAZN. This was a card headlined by Jono Carroll versus Scott Quigg in Manchester Arena. I think that's Lancashire, if I'm not mistaken, Manchester. And so it was Jono Carroll who looked just phenomenal, in my opinion. Scored a TKO11 when the corner threw in the towel, which was the absolute right decision. In fact, I think it could have happened a couple rounds before. And so, yeah, Ness, what did you think of Jono Carroll? Were you surprised? You know, what did you think of the performance as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was his best performance till date, his biggest win without a doubt. But he's looked his best in this fight. I've watched, obviously, the Tevin Farmer fight, and then I watched the fight where he got the draw with the Frenchman. So, shout out to Jono Carroll, man. Now, look, I don't want to say that it was Tevin Farmer and his relocation of training camp for this, but maybe his back looked crazy. I mean, you lift weights. Did you peep that? His fucking back was nothing but muscles.
Bro,
this little dude looked like a fucking ninja turtle.
And baseballs all over his back. He had that in bodybuilding, they call it that softball muscle that's like right below your shoulder blade in your back. Bro, his is just, I mean, that man looks like he swallowed a baseball and somehow it ended up back there. But yeah, it was a great performance in my opinion. I thought that Scott Quigg would win. I did. And I know I picked him, so I do deserve Crow, and I also deserve Crow for the fight with last night, also the main event with Robert Helenius. I don't know if you want to give me that real quick. Or we could take a collective one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely owed some because of the Helenius fight.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, man, you know, I thought that Carroll came out straight, picking his shots, you know, fighting off the back foot. You know, Jonah he had some wild tendencies at times where he saw an opportunity and, you know, he got off his feet or his balance looked a little shaky, but those were just slight moments, far and few between, because he had a complete performance. And that's probably the best word to use, is a complete performance, because I agree with you. This was his best performance to date. Regardless of opponent, this was his best performance to date. When you factor in the opponent, it makes it even better. But I would say that I've seen little pieces, bits and pieces here and there in that fight in his previous other, performances too. You know, we saw that aspect of him and we knew what he was capable of, but he put it all together and there was literally nothing Scott Quigg could do. Literally nothing.
Yeah, man, he was just too active for him, and he was accurate, and he did a lot of body work. Wow, the amount of body work. You know, very active as well with the right hook out of the southpaw stance. He just kept turning with that right hook. It was a good performance, man. Good performance. Someone else in the chat is also accrediting it to the Tevin Farmer training because he came out here to South Jersey. So we'll see, man, what Jonah says. I'm trying to get him on as well.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, lost where my notes were. Yeah, you know, this fight was entertaining in a lot of ways, despite the fact that it was a one-sided affair. And those are really impressive performances when you can do that, when you can have a one-sided affair and still give somebody a show. And I'm watching, it's the 9th round, I think, maybe 8th or 9th, 10th round, and I'm like, okay, this is over, we can stop this now. So at a point it kind of gets to be enough, just because you're thinking of the safe and the health of the other fighter. But from early on, Scott Quigg was chasing Jono, and he just didn't relent in his pursuit. And there was never any time where he didn't think to change it up, or he didn't think to mix things up. But even if he did, I think it would have been a moot point. I think he seemed almost unaware of what to expect, which cannot be possible in this fight. I think you had to have expected a little bit of what you were going to get. But yeah, man, I took a picture and put it on Instagram because on my TV. I mean, on my phone, I took a snapshot of Quigg's body on the left side, because you're absolutely right. Those right hands were devastating, and his body is just red. So that body work was violent, and I'm not gonna lie, I was very impressed by it.
Yeah, me too, man. I guess the biggest problem with the win is Quig coming off a 2-year layoff. So it's like, how high do I rank this performance? I can't give Jonah too much credit because we don't know where Quig was at. Great win, biggest win. Congratulations. Got to see what he does next. I know I seen on on social media, Eddie said that he's earned himself another title shot. I don't know who that would be against. But I guess I'll Google his division and just see. I don't know. I doubt he could get anything immediate off of a 2-year layoff, win over Scott Quigg. I mean, that would be weird. But then again, names sell. So
yeah, while you're looking that up, I'll just say from a matchup standpoint, there's so many interesting variables out there in his division, and some of them have issues with promotion and stuff, matching each other. But I think Jono Carroll is in this division, really strong option for a lot of guys. And so this is the type of performance you really need to build that confidence to get to the upper echelon and get past, where you're at and start to build the ascend even more. But Scott Quigg is an impressive name regardless. So, we'll see where he goes from here.
Miguel Bertel, Leo Santa Cruz. Who else got a title? Joseph Diaz, Herring. That's it, right?
Yeah. Those are all interesting matchups. Are they doable?
Would he do the rematch with Tevin? Now that they're friends?
I think if it made business sense, absolutely. But right now, no, I would say they wouldn't. There's no reason to. Tevin's got his hands full. He knows what he wants right now. So I don't think there'd be any reason to do it.
I guess I could watch Andrew Concillo and Jono Carroll.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I'll take Masaito Ito. He's a big guy for that division.
When's the last time he fought?
Didn't he lose to Herring or to Pitufo? Let me check.
He definitely, but that's what I was thinking. Wait, he lost to Herring. Was that his last fight?
Nah, then he got a win after that back home. Back home in Japan, he got a tune-up, 25-18 tune-up.
Cool. Yeah.
So I didn't watch the rest of the card because...
I didn't either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no. Look, I wanted to watch Hughie, but, I mean, he's fighting Pavel Sauer, and... at least he got the TKO. You know what I mean?
I saw the TKO. I did see the TKO. I didn't see anything else. Well, I would say I saw most of the second round, I guess.
At least he got the knockout, bro, because I know someone else had fought Sauer, I think, on Showtime. I think it was Jermaine Franklin went the decision with him, bro, which I believe we should be having Franklin maybe Tuesday morning. He's checking the schedule, but let me just double-check Hughie's record because I'm pretty sure Jermaine Franklin on Showbox went a unanimous 8 or 12 with Pavel Sour Diesel. Every time I say that name, I remember Sour Diesel. Pavel Sour, let's see. He got knocked out in 3 by Hughie, and before that, he went the unanimous decision loss with Jermaine. So, I mean, it says something. Jermaine is supposed to be this up-and-coming American heavyweight, and he went the decision. He really looked sloppy in that fight. I remember Mike not being impressed. And then here goes Hughie, knocks out this guy in 3. Boop, bop, let's go. Real easy from the Czech Republic, Mr. Sour. But, yeah, man, I didn't watch that shit, man. I'll check out some highlights or something like that. Fowler either. I don't know who Fowler was fighting, you know.
Anthony Fowler fought a guy whose name I'm going to butcher. It was Theophilus Dete is how I want to say it. I didn't see his fight either. But I'm going to go back and watch the Fowler fight because I definitely wanted to see him fight. I think there's some interesting things to him. But
yeah, he's on the rebuild, man. He's on the rebuild. He lost to Fitzgerald, right? Sure. It was Fitzgerald that derailed him?
Yes, absolutely. It was Scott Fitzgerald in a split decision loss. So, you know.
This is going to be a quick show, man. Not too much news out there. We're moving on to topic number 3, and it's more about Khabib wanting 11 rounds in boxing and 1 round in MMA. I mean, this saga.
It's silly. It's silly.
The saga with these MMA fighters and Floyd, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, everybody wants a shot. Everybody wants a shot. And Floyd, I mean, every time we report on Floyd, he just disappoints me more and more. We're either reporting on him because, he's not giving a guy credit or not promoting one of his guys the best. But now here we are again reporting on him for not giving a boxing guy a shot. Like you can make a millionaire. He could pick any welterweight and turn them into a millionaire. He could pick any junior welterweight, any super welterweight.
I like the way you're seeing that.
From 140 to 160, he could pick dudes out and turn them into millionaires. He's out here growing the popularity of McGregor and Nora Magomedov. Like, I swear to God, man. I mean, yo, we need the what was it? What was that story? The Grinch of Christmas Past, was it called, or the Scrooge? What was that story?
Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
Christmas Carol with Scrooge?
Yeah, but what was the ghost? Was it the ghost of Christmas Past?
There was a ghost of Christmas Past, a ghost of Christmas Present, and a ghost of Christmas Future.
All right, well Floyd is Scrooge. He needs to be he needs to be awoken. He needs to, they need to come to, the ghost of boxing needs to come to this motherfucker and show him what life could be like. Like, if he doesn't get his stuff together. Lose the arrogance and help your fellow man, help your brother. Like, you out here MMA fights. Like, again, he could pick Crawford and make Crawford a multimillionaire, make Earl a multimillionaire, make him the most money they ever made in their life. Danny, he could pick Danny. Easy win for him. Like, bruh, man, I'm so tired of reporting on this dude for the nonsense, man. It's so corny. It's like, how don't you care about the sport that gave you everything you have? You out here trying to bless MMA fighters. He already blessed some dude in I don't even know, what was the last tension? Like, come on, man. He blessing the wrong people. It's crazy.
Oh, he is. You're absolutely right. Listen, before I even report on this, and I was hesitant to put this in because I hate it too. But at the same time, it is what it is. This is what we do. We talk about things like this. I want to say real quick, though, like, the idea of rewriting A Christmas Carol with Floyd Mayweather as Scrooge and it being like a boxing theme, dude, I just hate you for putting that in my brain now, because that's all I want to see. I just want somebody to write that script and send it to Al and let him get it done, because that is like the coolest movie I could ever even think of. But besides that,
you should probably write a skit You know, probably what's
That would
this?
be dope.
What's this dude on Instagram? Is like Muhammad something. He does all the cartoons. You should probably write a script and then email it to him and have him do the cartoons.
That would be dope. You know what?
Do a little
I'm gonna
collab.
fucking do that.
Do a little collab.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna reach out and see if he wants to do that. Cause yeah, as soon as you said, I was just thinking like of all the boxing themed aspects of that kind of story. But real quick, we'll touch on this.
Hey, come on, poor Tension. Tension got that check and that popularity, bro. Let's be real.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and here's the other thing I could be seen from a Floyd perspective, which I don't often try to look at Floyd's perspective. But look, he came out in his last fight, he picked Andre Berto, right? He picked Andre Berto and everybody shitted on him. Like that was maybe his chance.
Shout out. That's actually the real T Street too. T Street, so many people make fake accounts of you. I didn't know that was you, but shout out for checking out the stream.
So anyway, real quick though, like I was just gonna say that that was his chance. He picked somebody, like you said, pick somebody, make him a millionaire. He picked Berto, everybody shitted on him. The reason why was because we knew that was his last fight. You know what I mean? If it was just a random thing and he was gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna help this man out.
Let me just jump in real quick.
That's a big thing.
Before you go too far off Berto, just to stay on the topic, you see, like he picked Berto. Bro, you see Berto out here chasing for fights? Is Berto out here like Austin Trout talking about, yo, I'm about to go down to 126 to show these, like Austin Trout doing the Empire because he got to get it back out there. Like Berto living off that pay-per-view, he still got that pay-per-view money collecting interest.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, help out your man, bro. Help out your man. That's all I'm saying. But I'm done with that topic, man. Whatever. Tension and Magdomed and McGregor. I watch McGregor again, and I'll probably watch this one too. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fight fan. But he's just hurting my feelings.
The only reason I even put it on is just the idea of what a card like that would look like. Because the whole point. And real quick, let me just read the quote. It was a story from Jake Donovan, from Boxing Scene, and in the quote, Floyd says, we, meaning him and Dana White, I don't even know what he is at this point in the UFC, but we all know who Dana White is to the UFC, talked about the Conor McGregor fight. We talked about the Khabib fight. Mayweather admitted during a recent fan event while on tour in the United Kingdom, for myself, the number is 600 million to face him. If I'm going to go out there and risk it, I'd have to be worth it. In the boxing world, as of right now, it doesn't make sense for me to fight an ordinary fighter. I'm a businessman. The Conor fight made sense. If this makes sense, it makes sense. Or if it makes money, it makes sense. So, and then Khabib basically came back and said, who's going to give you 600 million? Nobody's going to do that. Let's make as much money as we can. Let's fight. We'll box 11 rounds and we'll go 1 round MMA. That idea just sounds so moronic, but I'm not going to lie. I think at some point we're going to see a fight just like that. I remember there was those hybrid MMA events where they used to like bring in a boxing ring and they would also use it as an MMA fight, and they would have both. And it was so jarring to watch a boxing fight and then all of a sudden see an MMA fight. Like it was just kind of jarring. So in a situation where you're watching a boxing match and then all of a sudden these guys are taking off their gloves and putting on these littler gloves and taking off their shoes. Like that's such a weird situation. So that was the only reason I really wanted to bring it up, was to kind of get your thoughts on what a 12-round fight would look like, where they boxed for 11 rounds and then went 1 round MMA, which, by the way, Khabib would never make it that far. Floyd would stop him in a boxing match, so that wouldn't matter.
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I can't even believe that this is real. That's where I'm at. And 600 million. I mean, he's shooting for the stars. I get it. And he's hoping to land somewhere, but it just doesn't sound doable. 600 million is like so much that, I don't know, just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah, we can get off this topic.
And it was Russia, right? Because I mean, shit, isn't Russia like the same country that put up a bunch of money for Povetkin? I mean, can they come up with that type of money for this dude?
Look, this dude hangs out. Khabib hangs. Here's the thing. I know that you don't watch MMA. I know you don't care about who this guy is, but he is really an interesting guy. You got to go on YouTube and watch some of the documentaries out there on him, because some of the things that are true are crazy. Some of the things that are just rumors, but a lot of people speculate to be true, are even crazier. I mean, the the company this guy keeps is really crazy, and they probably could come up with that. Would they want it? Is that an event that anybody outside of Dana White could make money with, or outside of Dana and Floyd? I don't think so. So then, no, I don't think they put up that money.
Now, and this is just me entertaining this foolery. Any way that Saudi Arabia would be interested or put up this money?
I think they're in the business of anything Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, WWE, UFC, anything that really captures headlines, they're in the business of. And do they have the pockets for something like this? Yes, they do. But this is a huge commitment, and this is a big thing. And I think that in order for them to secure that type of funds, they would need some pretty interesting guarantees from the Mayweather camp and from both parties, really. And those are the type of things I don't think money buys with Floyd. Money will buy a lot of things for Floyd, but that and the health risk he puts himself in the ring will never, ever have a price tag on it, nor should they. So hopefully none of this happens.
Yeah, hopefully, man. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, as it helps with the visibility of the show. Plus, it lets us know that you appreciate the content. You appreciate that we are here 7 days a week, multiple times throughout the day. So if you haven't done so, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click that notification bell, because it's very important. You actually have to get into your settings and click more than just the bell if you want to receive every notification from us every time we go live, since we go live multiple times per day. But are we now moving on to what's next on the docket?
The Goossen
Pulev. Actually, should I say Goossen? Goossen tricking us all into believing he was training a heavyweight, and instead he's training Pulev.
Yeah, that was a bit of a swerve. We were expecting different types of things. You had thrown Ruiz out there into the universe when we were on a call, or actually, I think it was a voice message. And I heard that message from you, and then it just was like, I got this like funny feeling, like, oh, that could be true. And then that grew into like expectations. So then when the moment came where he was going to make the announcement last night on TV, on Fox, on Fox during the PBC broadcast, it seemed exciting, and then it was just one of those womp 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 moments, and that's our fault, or maybe my fault alone, for building up those type of expectations. But I still think it's a good mix for them both. I haven't really thought about what it could boil down to, what he could help with specifically, but I do think it's a good mix for both of them.
But all the way in Bulgaria, like he's traveling to Bulgaria. That means that he's no longer going to be on Fox. It's obviously not going to affect his Fox schedule, or he gave up whatever air dates he had. I mean, I don't know. Huge commitment for sure. I guess, we'll see what happens, man. Pulev, by the way, for those that don't know, is the mandatory for Anthony Joshua. And he is facing Joshua. Fight's been announced. I believe it's June 20th is when they will meet, and it'll be in Old Trafford Stadium or Old Trafford, I don't know, something like that. Something in the UK.
Josh, yeah, man, I'm sorry I left that off the itinerary. That's my fault.
No.
So unprofessional.
Nah, bro. Look, someone in the chat will let us know.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah,
let me address this chat. El Mas Loco, I definitely did not believe the Goossen rumor. If anything, I did not want to believe it. I said it on the show. I didn't want him to train Wilder. If anything, I said I thought it was going to be Andy. I thought he was going to train Andy because they both from, California. But I didn't want him to train Wilder. Come on, man. I like George. I like Floyd. I like those ideas. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens, man. Maybe nothing. Tottenham Stadium. There you go. It's a soccer stadium.
You know why you like that idea? Because, and this is the highest compliment I think I could pay for you. I think like you have that same spirit as what was the guy that created the circus? Barnaby Jones? Damn, I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about, right? They made that movie, that musical that was nominated for awards. Anyway, I forgot his name. I'm sure somebody in the chat will let me know. Anyway, like he had the idea for the circus, and that's what you like about those approaches is the kind of circus approach. More with Floyd than anything else. I shouldn't really say that with Foreman, but more with Floyd than anything else. It appeals to your showman side.
If the circus means entertaining, drawing in casuals and the popularity, because
that wasn't
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm piggybacking because I feel like I don't know. I feel like they bring more than just their knowledge, man. They bring their popularity.
Absolutely.
They bring their popularity,
no, you're absolutely right.
and that's important to me, not to everyone. You know what I mean? People like, oh, you don't really care about Wilder. You care about him getting more popular than learning the skill. And it's like, no, I want a trainer that could bring both. Why not bring both to the table? You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So Pulev, whatever. He's getting trained by Goossen, and he's taking a shot with AJ, and it's gonna be no different than Ajagba and Razvan Cojanu. It'll be one of those barometer fights where we're comparing because I'm gonna be comparing AJ's performance with Pulev to Vlad's performance with Pulev.
Yeah, I definitely think that we'll all have that in our minds come fight night. And look, in no way, shape, or form am I saying because we've experienced some highly irregular wins in the heavyweight division, specifically wins from underdogs, that we should expect Pulev anymore to have this incredible victory from an underdog standpoint. But at the same time, I do think that there is an expectation to believe that it's going to be a good fight, just because these fights just have not been bad. You know what I mean? Like, I understood all the hate on Joshua and all the hate on Wilder and all the hate on Fury from those fans like 3-4 years ago, but now it's like, how can you not be a fan of just the heavyweight division in general? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just keep producing incredible things, and until one of them starts boring the shit out of me, I'm really not going to be in favor of any one of these guys. I'll definitely tell you who I think is number one or number two or who wins the fight, but either way, I'm excited to see them all. That's the Libra in me, though.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, heavyweight division is exciting, especially when they could change with a punch. I mean, 2018, you wouldn't have told me that I would have believed Brett Pulev has a shot, but 2019 has learned me. I have fucking definitely been taught by 2019 and learned my lesson. And 2019 is 2020 is reminding us not to forget 19. So, I'm not picking Pulev at all. I don't give him any fucking shot at all. I'm going into that Pulev-Anthony Joshua fight no different than I went into that Anthony Joshua-Andy Ruiz fight. Not happy with the fight, expecting AJ to, handle business. I doubt Pulev can pull off the upset, man.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it can happen, but that doesn't mean that it's not an important fight for Joshua's resume and something that we'll see at some point.
Keeping it real, it's sadder because like more people would probably start to give other heavyweights more of a shot because we've already seen AJ lose, but I don't think so. Like, even though I seen Andy do it, I don't think Pulev can do it. Even before I seen Andy do it, I didn't think Pulev can do it. But even now, like, he just doesn't have that style that Andy has. Like, Andy lets hands go when he wants to, right? When he ain't fat. But yeah, man. Let's see here. What else we got to talk about before we open up these lines? Look, I lost you there, buddy. Looks like
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it was just like a whole thing that happened here. My whole computer just kind of like unfroze and froze. But yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, I mean, where are we now in this itinerary?
We would in this itinerary, we'd be talking next about Hearn's insistence that he has spoken with Arum about Fury Joshua. He explained that not only has he spoken with Arum about the fight, it was Arum who reached out to him. And this was a story that was first reported on, you know what, I'm not even going to say it because I don't remember, but the story where I read it from was from Boxing Scene. So I'll try to give whoever it was that broke it a shout out before. Because,
yeah, I was thinking about this myself.
Quotes. This was the narrative too, Ness. This was the narrative that was coming out, after the show we did on the whole Eddie Hearn saying that he had been talking about the fight, Fury Joshua.
Well, the one we did was on Barry's phone call or alleged phone call.
We did that one, but we did another one. Remember earlier in the week, we did one, I think it was right after the White announcement. We definitely did another one about it. So,
well, I mean, the only thing I want to add is that I kind of always believed it. Even though Frank Warren said it's not true, even though people like to say Eddie lies, I mean, why wouldn't you make the phone call? Why wouldn't you see what Eddie, Barry, what they willing to do? Why not? Doesn't matter what contract you got. Why not? Why not make the call and see what's going on?
Here's one reason I would have not believed it. And remember, I wouldn't say remember, but I've been on record this whole week. I believe Eddie. I think this was true. I think we were very, very close to getting Joshua Fury, and I think that would have definitely been the next fight had Wilder not executed his rematch clause. That said, heading into these discussions and everything we got from them, if I wasn't going to believe this, it would be because I wouldn't believe Bob side of it, whether he was being honest about whether or not he wanted this fight, or because like you said, it was like the feeling out process, but when has he ever really done that? You know what I'm saying? But the report was by, I don't know, but it was on Boxing Scene, and there was just some quotes that Hearn told IFL TV, because like I said, the narrative had been that, was Hearn lying? Was Joshua Fury really that close? And Hearn explained that he had spoken with Bob, and Bob was the one who reached out, and he said, of course, I effing have spoken to Bob Arum. Firstly, I've been negotiating with the Pulev fight with him. How many times have I spoken to Bob Arum in the last 3 weeks? Half a dozen times. How many times have I spoken to Arum since the Fury fight? 4 times. Of course I've spoken to Bob Arum. Do you think Bob's not going to call me and talk about it? This geezer is all over it like a rat up the drain pipe. God damn it, I love this man. He is just awesome with quotes. He was the first one to call me, Hearn told IFL TV. Yeah, that wasn't quote. That was just me at the injecting. We've been talking loads and loads. I haven't seen Frank's interview where he says Bob definitely hasn't had a conversation with me about the fight. Okay, listen, we haven't been exchanging contracts, but we've had several conversations about Fury.
Mario's internet is like, your internet is on it.
Would work. So, God damn it. Are you serious? You missed it all?
Not all.
Okay, let me just do that last little paragraph. Bob definitely hasn't had a conversation with me about the fight. Okay, listen, we haven't been exchanging contracts, but we've had several conversations about Fury Joshua. We talked about how the fight would work. We talked about how the broadcasters would work. So those are important things, and those are kind of the humps that you get over initially when you have these conversations. Nobody sits down with ink to pen, the first negotiation or two, and if they do, it's because they're taking it on yellow notepads. Like, all of the preliminary talk is really where the deal gets made. Once they sit to the table, that they're basically agreeing to the fight. Once they come to these drawn up contracts, they're as good as signed for the most part. Obviously not all the time if you look at Lomachenko's situation, but I think that this, while it wasn't, sitting on the table at the offices in Top Rank, only needing a signature, I do believe we were much further along than the general public knows.
I mean, I'm just going as far as believing that they were having conversations, that they were receiving phone calls. I believe that much. You know what I mean? It's like Eddie, and even after hearing the quote, I believe it more because it's true. You got to talk to Eddie for the Pulev fight. He's the one that does the deal for Joshua. So, it just makes sense, man. How could you not have that conversation? But what else we got?
There was the Caleb Smith stuff. I didn't know if you wanted to save that for the morning, but we can talk about it now.
Let's get through it.
Let's get through it then.
What, did he sad? I think I seen this. Did he sad? Did he saying that Canelo never really wanted to fight? Like, the audacity of these motherfuckers. I don't understand
this is where I wanted
them.
to get to you.
This is what I don't understand. Like, you turned down an offer. Now you're out here in the media saying, well, he didn't really want to fight because he didn't even want to negotiate. Motherfucker, who are you? Why do you think you deserve more than one offer? Let this be a lesson to these other fucking middleweights and junior middleweights and super middleweights. We will move the fuck on. You either want to be in the greatest show on earth with Canelo Alvarez, or you on the outside doing sour ass interviews like this. I seen this and I said, man, this got to be the stupidest motherfucker alive. You gonna turn down, especially when I see Canelo offering life-changing money. He offered Derevchenko 5.5.
Yeah.
So I heard he offered Billy Joe $8 million. Man, listen, bruh, stop fucking playing, man. These dudes is clowns. They don't really want this fight. They want to never fight again. They want to lose and that Canelo retired them financially. It's crazy because it used to be like that about AJ. It's just like whoever's the cash cow, they want to milk them. They don't want to just fight. Yeah. We want the absolute, positively most we can get. Or we not taking it. Then we gonna cry because we ain't take it. Man, get your ass out of here, bruh.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping I'd get from you. This is the question that I wanted posed to you, and you answered it perfectly. So you said everything exactly the way I would have wanted to say it. So I'm just going to read the quotes. In the article, another one by Boxing Clever, by the way, it talks about how Caleb Smith says that Canelo's handlers had made him a single offer, but never came back with a counter. And Smith told Sky Sports, they made me an offer which I believe was too low. I said no. Billy Joe said no to the same offer. I thought we'd start negotiating and we'd have some back and forth, but that was it. He made an
Stop
one
right
offer,
there. Stop right there.
Social media. Go ahead.
What don't he get? He and Billy Joe ain't on the same level. Billy Joe is a multiple division champion. Billy Joe has been known way longer. Billy Joe fought fucking Chris Eubank. Not even. Wasn't it James DeGale? Who fought James DeGale? Was it George Groves? That was George Groves. I'm sorry. But Billy Joe fought Chris Eubank early in his career. Maybe 13-0, something like that. Maybe a little bit more. He fought Chris Eubank early in his career. And Billy Joe's been linked to Tyson Fury for how long? How long? They've been best mates for how long? So, like, how the hell are you putting yourself on Billy Joe's level? Oh, Billy Joe got another offer. Why can't I get one? Because he's on another motherfucking stratosphere, maybe? Maybe because he's got more accomplishments than you? You beat George Groves in Saudi Arabia after Carl Froch did that shit twice and retired. Like, you out here acting like you deserve multiple offers. I mean, that's what I'm saying. These dudes, bro, they got to wake up and smell a coffee, man. I'm glad Canelo shitting on all of them, walking. Oh, you don't want the 5.5? Well, take this fucking belt. Go fight the old man. Oh, you don't want this motherfucking offer? Well, we ain't making you another one. It's that simple, bruh. It's like he's the biggest game in town. Get on board.
That's holding court.
No, look at Wayne. Court. Of course Wayne will say, oh, he's wrong. It's one offer. He should negotiate. Why? What does Callum bring to the table? Oh, he's got the Ring magazine and the Super WBA. And what has Canelo accomplished? Like, how does that even? There's no balance in that, bro. I'm giving you an opportunity. Take it or leave it.
Well, he might have believed his own hype, and and look, I think Callum Smith is a very talented fighter. He could very well be the best in the division one day, or recognized universally.
Bro, coming off a loss with John Ryder like that, he should have been up and at him for this. He should have been dying to change the public perception about himself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, there's no question. And real quick, I do want to read the I won't read the whole thing, but he does wish good luck to Billy and he hopes it goes well. But I just want to read this part. This is the last bit of quotes from the Sky Sports interview. He said, "I'm disappointed. It wasn't a fight I ever believed that I'd get, but to get an official offer, you start thinking of ways to beat him. It was a fight I wanted, but good luck to Billy Joe. We're both world champions, but I'm number one in divisions. Billy Joe's a good fighter who has paid his dues. I believe that I'm the tougher fight for Canelo, but we're both world champions, so we're both tough for him." Here's the thing. Yes, there are world champion is a world champion in boxing, not all the time. That's first of all. And WBA proves that more than anyone. But there's also not as much value in being a champion as there is in being Canelo Alvarez or Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? These guys become bigger than the sport at some point, and that has happened. But just to say that it was an offer that I never thought I'd get, but then you start thinking about ways to beat him. Here's the thing. Take the money, and if you beat him, then you're the person in the driver's seat. You're the person dictating these terms. I've said this for years. These guys, exactly.
Do the Andy. Andy wasn't out here talking about, I want more. He ain't sliding Eddie DMs and be like, yo, Eddie, give me a shot. Please give me a shot. I promise you I can beat him. And then when Eddie gives him a shot, say, I want a little more. Come on, bro. Like, these guys are, look, man, whatever.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look because the narrative that was painted during these negotiations made him look bad, and now coming back and saying, "Oh, I thought I was playing the game," never refuse the same offer. That's the Michael Scott fucking version of business.
No, and I think Michael Gross too. I wish he was on. He always say, "You never take the first offer." I would be laughing at him today right now because he's a main advocate of that, and you can't do that all the time, man. You don't know what's gonna happen. Turn around, you leave that money on the table, and that table gone.
Yeah, there are times where, it's a smart business tactic, but there are other times where don't kick a gift horse in the mouth, I guess. And I don't want to call Canelo a gift horse per se, because it's not. It's still a sport, and you should be fighting the best, and we expect you to fight the best. But he's done that. So, this was Callum Smith's opportunity, I think, to fully realize what potentials he has. I think he should have taken the fight, or I know he should have taken the fight.
All these dummies in the chat talking about it's called negotiating, Ness. I guess it's not when I don't send you another offer.
That's the problem right there. It's negotiating when it's an in-house fight. Then the negotiations happen, just like we're seeing with Lomachenko. You know what I mean? We're seeing that with Lomachenko. That's what's going on. But when you're in a situation where somebody's kind of reaching out and bringing negotiations get tough. If you're not familiar with the other side, then this is what happens. Guys pull up and walk out. It happens every day.
Every day, man. What else is on the docket?
That's it actually.
All right, open up these lines.
Yes, sir.
Slow week, too. Let's see if we get some late calls in.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Boomerang in Baltimore.
Hallelujah, and how you doing, good sir? Good sirs, I should say. Both.
How are you, Troy? Troy, do us a favor, man. Get off that speakerphone.
How's this sound? It sound better?
We'll take it.
Okay, good. I just have a question for you. When Wilder was offered $100 million, said it was slave wages, you agreed, but now Saunders is offered $8 million You saying take the money, and yada yada yada.
Brother, this is why you and I.
Around?
This is why you and I always have a problem because you're trying to compare Callum Smith to Deontay Wilder. You're trying to compare heavyweight.
No.
You're trying to compare. I faded you out. Nobody can hear you now. You shouldn't have never asked me a question. You're trying to compare a heavyweight to a fucking 168 pounder that nobody's ever heard of, whose biggest win is a dude that has been retired for 2, 3, 4 years already. Knocked him out twice before. You really should watch current boxing, man. You know, you pride yourself on this history shit, but history should at least make you smart.
You can take me off mute so I can have my time now, please. Can you hear me? Hello?
We hear you, brother.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I didn't know if I was still muted or not. It's the same situation, man. It's just that one of them turned down the money. Now he got knocked out and there is no money. I don't care about the weight because everything you said is foolishness and it makes no difference. It's the same situation. Weight doesn't have anything to do with it. That's a nice deflect. But
if weight don't have nothing to do with it, then why is everybody invested in the heavyweight division? Why do the paydays, or are they bigger in the heavyweight division? You sound stupid, bro. Like, you really need to learn boxing. You just call in here.
I'm actually not.
And you don't know nothing.
I'm actually not stupid at all. Yeah.
I mean,
of course.
You're probably not stupid in the real world. You're probably not stupid in the real world, but in boxing, you quite dumb.
I'm not stupid at all on any level.
Nah,
you can trust, but I'm not. I'm gonna stay on the subject. I'm gonna stay on the subject. Coming from you, I take that as a compliment. So I don't really give a damn what you think about me and how much I know in boxing.
You know you
and
care
all
what
that.
I think.
Actually, sweetheart, no, I don't.
You lying.
I truly don't.
You know you lying.
Okay, honey. Well, why don't you just give me my time?
He gonna hit me up on Facebook later to tell me how much he cares.
I actually no, Nesta, you should stop telling that lie. And since I hit you up so much, why don't you just post? Why don't you just go grab something and post it on there to show that I hit you up every day because you're lying?
Oh, man.
Stop it, honey.
Oh, man.
Stop it, honey. You're just embarrassing yourself, honey.
Clock ticking.
Okay. Oh, that's okay, Cupcake. You know, I can play the clock out. It's fine, but
buzzer beater, baby. Buzzer beater.
Nesta, man, you know, all due respect, you can't call me dumb in boxing. I mean, you can, but it's pointless.
I mean, you trying to compare a 168-pound dude from a whole, another country.
I'm comparing
that's
the same situation, my dear brother.
You can't.
See?
You can't.
And what you're doing, what you're doing is you're trying to deflect something, and I'm not getting off the subject. I understand that.
I don't want you to. I'm letting you rock.
Listen, most callers call in here, and they act like they're a fan of yours because they ain't off you. I'm not an off you. It's not the first show I've been on, and you're not the first person who's involved in the sport that I spoke to. I spoke to people who I told you, I spoke to the Shea Mosleys, the Don Kings. I'm not off any man that actually walks upright like me. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
All I know is that I
have a lot of respect for you.
If you was
I have a lot of
Callum's
respect for you as a podcaster.
If you was Callum's manager, which you not,
right?
It seems like y'all would have made the same decision that his current manager made, which is not take the offer.
I can't manage anyone at the moment because I'm a full-time trainer. And, oh, by the way, I'm a full-time trainer, and I have a gym that's about to be open somewhere down south, but I'm not telling you that until I get all the paperwork and everything signed. And all them punks that were challenging me that in the southern region, the Carolinas, the VAs, and all up and down the south, give me 3 years, and I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna come for you. Me and my kids are gonna come for you. Legacy boxing, that is coming for you, but it's about 3 to 5 years before all that takes hold. So go ahead and pray for me on that. Because that's what I'm going to be doing for the next year.
Speak and believe and receive it. See that?
Deontay is not a man of prayer. Anytime you want to kill somebody in the ring, you ain't no damn man of prayer.
Speak and believe and receive it. I hear you taking up after Deontay. Speak and believe and receive it.
Okay, listen. I got to go now. You enjoy yourself. Okay, sweetness? You have a good night.
No, thank you.
You have a great night.
No, thank you.
Okay, Mario.
Thank you.
Mario, you have a good night, too.
I'm sure Callum Smith thanking you, too, for that horrible advice.
Thank you, Troy.
You as his manager, you get 10% of nothing now because y'all ain't take that offer. We going out to Ringer Steve in Chicago. What up?
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What up,
Doing well,
Steve? What
doing
up? What
well.
up?
All right, yeah, I want to start with that Jono Carroll. I did watch it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he's a good fighter, but he's. I don't think he breaks into that elite level. I don't see him beating Burchelt. I don't see him being JoJo. I don't see him beating Leo Santa Cruz. I don't see him being Herring. So, I honestly, I think he should go for like a secondary belt. I think that would be the best route for him. I just don't see him breaking into the top level. But yeah, as far as the upset, you could give me a little crown out for that because nobody saw that one coming. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You're the one that got me watching Adam. I was never really. You keep talking about him, and you're the one that got me like thinking that he might actually come into something. But I was never really crazy about him. I was just listening to you. You made me think that maybe he's got possibilities, but we'll see where he goes from here. Ajagba, yeah, I don't know about him either. He's not impressing me. But I am high on Sanchez. I think Sanchez, he's got a nice style. But you guys hit it, man. The heavyweight division. I mean, if you ain't into the heavyweight division as a fan right now, then you shouldn't even watch the sport. The heavyweight division is just giving us so much unpredictable. I'm glad I'm not betting on this shit. That's all I could tell you because I'd be losing my ass.
I can't wait for Joe Joyce Dubois.
Yeah, that's a great fight. I agree. But yeah, man. I mean, that's all I got, man. Yeah. This heavyweight division, man. This shit is like unpredictable as hell. Like I don't know what. It's just interesting to watch. That's all I could say.
Well, all right,
That's
Steve. Listen, man, he's still top 10 in my eyes. It's the heavyweight division. You know, one punch is more damaging, man. So, look, Gerald Washington knocked out Helenius. Helenius knocks out Kownacki, man. I mean, White went 12 with Helenius, you know. This is what it is, man. It's the heavyweight division.
You're right.
he had a chance because if you saw Washington against Martin, I mean Washington looked horrible, and I'm thinking there's no way this Helenius had a chance, but that's the heavyweight division, like you say.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look, you know, they're in the chat saying that I overrate Lou DiBella fighters or PBC fighters. I mean, I was in the gym with Adam, bro. I've watched him spar quite a few people. I watched him spar Zhilao Zhang, the Chinese heavyweight. I watched him spar Big Baby, Mike Polite Coffee. Look, he got caught. And he didn't recover. Like, what? I don't get what y'all... You know, that's the thing. That's why we invented Bodo. You motherfuckers ain't been in the ring. And that's why you talking like that. You think it's easy to recover from a heavyweight punch, man. It's not. It's not, man. Evidently, it's not. We just seen how many heavyweights. AJ not be able to recover. Wilder not be able to recover. Now Adam not able to recover. So, you know, we need to stop acting, you know, as if in the heavyweight division... it's over after one loss. Like, Helenius is back. He's back as he's about to get a title shot, bruv. Yo, wow. Let me get out to Civilian 11. What up?
Yeah, nothing much, man. I watched the fight last night. It was a really good fight. Kept me on the edge of my seat. I was happy we had that fight last night, and just catching up on the DAZN fights right now. But, you know, kind of is what it is. It's a good weekend. Hey, one more thing, like are you guys talking about the heavyweight division is on right now? It's really funny how the heavyweight division is doing their thing, and, like, the welterweight division has kind of lost a little bit of steam, you know, now that those guys, the top guys in welterweight, are finally fighting each other. But I'm happy that the heavyweights are doing their thing right now. You know, it's a good time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It does feel that way, and it does feel like the welterweights have lost steam. I think you know what it is a little bit, and I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying this is me keeping my pulse on Twitter and social media in general. It's almost like people are treating Earl like he took a loss to the car. Like the car took his L away. Like it just feels like that's the way people talk sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was a really interesting point, though. You're right.
All right, civilian.
You're right. That's crazy.
You there? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just like, yeah, you're right. I mean, people are kind of putting an L on Earl because of the car. I mean, people talking about take tune-up fights and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's cool. Just so, if he does lose to, Crawford, it won't be an excuse. But it is almost like he just took a loss in the ring because he was in a car accident. But that's all I have. Y'all have a good night.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in. We're going out to Danny in Alabama. What up?
Hey, Ness and Mario. What it be?
What it do?
What up?
Hey, if Adam Kownacki's listening, man, this is for you, brother. True heart. The loss for Babyface is not a disgrace. He entertains, I can't complain, throws punches in bunches. He came to fight last night. When he got dropped, he didn't want to stop. Should have taken a knee for an 8 count and then got up. A true warrior that didn't kneel. Wished he had done the TV interview, he wouldn't have gotten booed. It ain't over for Babyface. He's still in the race. More paydays and glory will be his story. Never give up. I'm a true fan. Keep punching, man.
Yo, that was dope.
I didn't know if he was done. Danny has some pauses sometimes. All right, Danny, well, thanks for calling in.
Yo, Danny, that was good. I think I'm going to do one like that, too, from now on. Every show.
I think maybe it's your internet that has you sounding like you chopped and screwed over there. I think you in true Texas fashion, though, You said
I'm gonna restart it real quick, okay? Give me 2 minutes.
Chopped and screwed over there. We going out to New Jersey. Stunner.
Yo, what's good?
What up, champ? Helenius, huh? You thought he was done.
I don't really say done. I mean,
bruh, you used to talk about how Washington stopped Helenius, and Helenius went 12 rounds with Dillian White. Now look at Helenius.
Exactly. Look, I bring up Helenius to bring credit to Washington's name and to discredit White. So him beating Kownacki just adds to that, first off. Second off, I mean, as far as the fight, that was a good fucking fight. Like I said, I mean, in the post-fight, Helenius was saying he wasn't even hurt, which is surprising. Now, as far as what's going to happen going forward, I still think Kownacki can serve a purpose because, like I said, he has a big fan base and he can fill up the Barclays. So anybody, that wants to fight him, whether it doesn't even necessarily have to be a main event. You can have somebody have a main event and have him do the co-main and then he fills it out. But as far as, let me ask you, they were saying that Kownacki and Ruiz were going to fight, but since Kownacki got knocked off, doesn't that basically make more sense for Ortiz versus Ruiz?
I mean, it's a possibility, man.
If Ortiz fights Ruiz, then what if PBC keeps Helenius and then brings Trevor Bryan on the Fox, and then they do that, and then they could put that in Brooklyn, and then I don't know. What do you think about? Because isn't Trevor Bryan from Brooklyn?
Man, I never seen that dude in my life, bro.
Yeah, get him on TBV.
I don't even know who he is, bro.
Send him an IG message, man. He knows about the show, man. It's the #1 boxing show.
I don't even got his IG, bro.
Shit, I mean, I don't know.
Somebody dropped me an IG link. Honestly, bro, I never even heard of my man. I only hear about him in the WBA rankings, man. That shit is crazy. Honestly, I'm just keeping it real. I never seen him or nothing. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
My last question though: who do you want F.A. Ajagba to fight next?
F.A. FA. I mean, it don't matter who he fight, in my opinion, because like his handlers already told me that they taking baby steps with him, right? Like they said that. They said he ain't ready for nothing for like 2 years. You know what I mean? And that was last year, so I'm assuming next year is when they gonna think he ready. You know what I mean? I mean, look, he just fought Razvan, who was coming off of how many losses? Plus Dubois knocked him out, so. That's what they need to keep doing. Keep getting, common opponents. He need rounds though, man. He went too many with Razvan.
Is he ready for a Christian Hammer?
I don't know. I don't think so. We just seen Christian Hammer too. Who he just fought? He just fought somebody on TV.
He fought Ortiz. I remember that one.
Nah, that's old, man. I'm talking about recently.
Was that on Impact or something? I don't know. What about the Franklin cat? Like Jamal Franklin kid. He's like undefeated or something, right?
Yeah. What about him? But I mean, he ain't ready. Who you want him to fight?
I'm saying shit. I mean, he be talking shit, so it's like if you back it up, go fight FA. Shit, y'all both can't keep your O forever. Somebody, got to move on. Somebody got to reset.
Who you said?
Jamal Franklin. He on PBC.
Nah, man, nah.
I'm just throwing out names. I mean,
they ain't gonna do that with Ajagba.
Why not?
Dimitri won't put him in there.
This is my thing. Look, Joe Joyce and Dubois are fighting each other, right? These are both top level guys who, if they
but that makes financial sense. They both names, man. One is a name locally, and Joe Joyce is a name because he was an Olympian. He's in the national. But Stunner, I got to get to some other people. Let me get to looking like Brandon Cincinnati. What up, Brandon?
Good morning. Good morning, Ness. I said good morning. Good evening, Ness. Good evening, Mario. I'm gonna start with Jono Carroll. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Jono Carroll. Jono Carroll, man, I might sound blasphemous, man, but he looked like a poor man's Lomachenko yesterday with the footwork, the pivoting. The shots was real accurate. He picked his shots well yesterday too. He wasn't just throwing everything at the same speed. I said poor man's, man. Goddamn. He looked good, man. I wouldn't mind seeing him, in a big fight here soon. He in a good division. Maybe if JoJo beat Tevin, maybe the Tevin rematch. If he keep getting better and better, he got speed, good footwork. He just ain't got no power, so he can box. I like Jonah. He did good. As far as Kownacki, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's a blood and guts fighter, I guess. Those guys rarely go undefeated. He's going to take some losses. But the fact that he's going to always be in, action-packed fights, he'll keep getting chances and people will still come out the scene. But I told y'all months ago, he's a glorified bar fighter. He's that white guy at the bar who gets drunk, and when you punch him in his face, he's like, come on, hit me again. He's one of those people, man. So he'll never be champ. But, shout out to Helenius. For getting the win. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Helenius fight Andy Ruiz this summer. Maybe they'll use Helenius to tune up Andy Ruiz later on this summer. I could see that. Ajagba and get to see that fight, but from what I hear, he did pretty good. Maybe you dust off Gerald Washington, let Gerald Washington get beat up again. Who knows, man?
He's coming off a knockout, man. He gonna have to get healed and shit.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know what FA does. Maybe trying to think who else PBC has over there for him. Like they said, Christian Hammer, a durable guy. Let's see him get in there with another guy who ain't just gonna lay down. So maybe Christian Hammer. But I don't know. But like I said, it sounds like FA did pretty well. I wish I would have caught that fight. Carlos Negron knocked out. What's the guy's name? Ain't he JD's Ain't he a JD's fighter? The guy Carlos Negron knocked out, the Cuban dude.
Yeah. Not JD's. He's Herman Salcido.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Luis
thought
Ortiz,
I
Luis
heard.
Ortiz trainer.
Okay, Lil Ortiz trainer. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, the Cuban fighters, man, it seemed like they had them good amateur careers, but they burn out when they get to the pros. That's like that kid who been playing like little league sports since he was 3. And by the time he get to high school, he just burned out because he been playing it so long, and his dad been pushing him so long. That's how them
That's
Cuban
right.
fighters. That's how them Cuban fighters seem to me. But other than that, like I said, shout out to Jono, shout out to Helenius for pulling off the upset. Man, I was saying earlier, it looked like Charles Martin. I mean, with Wilder losing and Ruiz losing and all them cats losing, and now Kownacki. You can argue Charles Martin is the top guy PBC heavyweight right now. But that's my call.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in, Brandon in Cincinnati. So, yeah, man, looks like that's about it. Early night, because it's a slow schedule. You fake boxing fans. So, yeah, we're going to get up out of here, man. Listen, the rules are when someone else is talking, you don't cut them off, man. So, Mr. Baker, you just going to not be on today, brother, because that's just the rules, man. And you disrespected Brandon's call for no reason. But yeah, man, Nest GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Catch us on the morning show. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back with another one. Peace.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Mike thinks about the fights. He'll come back this week, and still all prayers sent to him. Shout out to Michael Gross. Let him know, that you miss him on the show on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you follow him, if you have his phone number, whatever. At Maury Mungi on Twitter, at Maury Mungi on Instagram. Of course, like always, you can hit me up after the show or anytime, really, and chop up whatever we didn't get to chop up or everything we did chop up. It don't matter. Peace.
Peace.